Not too long ago, we talked about Overwatch and its amazing cinematics that will never amount to anything substantial because Blizzard hates making money. But they put out a new one. Let's talk about Bastion and how much this short made me smile.
And made Mightier without roids.
What a waste of potential. I had so many great stories and characters to work with here.
Well, I mean, it did its job. It made you want to buy the game.
Yeah, pay $50 for the game that doesn't give you the experience that these trailers sold you on.
Well, it's used real in-game graphics, which is more than you can say for any of the World of Warcraft trailers or the StarCraft trailers.
I guess I can't really argue with you on that. It's just, they had so much potential, such a deep world, it would have made a hell of a movie.
Well, it was supposed to be a movie in the first place after the StarCraft MMO failed, and then they wrote the script for Overwatch, and then that didn't get greenlit, so then they decided to turn it into a video game.
I mean, yeah, but there was just so much potential. They could have taken that story, woven it into the world, and really told something impactful.
Well, not every game has to tell a story to be enjoyable.
Well, I should think so. Name one that doesn't.
Tetris.
Apparently, Tetris has a really rich and complex story. That's why it's getting 3 movies. So while I'm sipping my Overwatch haterade, let's talk about the stuff that it actually did right. This short is beautiful. I know I said before that the Weeaboo Fighting Magic short, Dragons, was my favorite. No, not anymore. It's this one. And it's not hard to see why. Sure, I'm being pandered to. It's a robots with feels story. You know, Short Circuit, Wall-E. These kinds of stories always tug at my heartstrings, just bar none. So it's pretty easy to see why this one would nail it with me. But even if it wasn't that, the brilliance of storytelling, the Ghibli meets Pixar motifs, message, and medium, the elegance of not using words to tell the story in a conventional manner, the subject matter inside of it, everything from stem to stern makes this an elegant little art piece to me. On the thematic level, let's talk about how Bastion's short is completely painted over with the message and themes of The Wizard of Oz. First off, look at Bastion's path. The one his AI tells him to follow is a literal yellow brick road that leads him off to a kingdom in the distance. It passes him through a field of poppies, and for a character who has spent all of his time asleep in nature, that moment, that plot point from The Wizard of Oz shines through in this story quite heavily, especially since it is a dream in this field that brings him back and allows him to slip free of his programming. The castle at the end of his quest represents his ultimate goal, but at the same time, it is his finding of a heart that allows this Tin Woodsman to escape his path and find something that he deems more valuable. This wordless simplicity is elegant, and believe it or not, it really helps to sell not only more backstory towards the Omnic Crisis, but of course it helps to establish Reinhardt and his order, as well as selling a new fantastic map for the game itself. This is fantastic. It builds the world. It builds not just one character, but several, and beyond that, it tells a wonderful story and makes the character that everybody hates to lose to, except for maybe Torbjorn, one of the most endearing characters around. Even if he really is just a reskin of Gamma from Sonic Adventure. Like seriously, you've played Sonic Adventure. You remember E102 Gamma? Gamma's whole story was about the fact that Gamma had a friend that's a bird and that he's supposed to be hunting down Amy the Hedgehog through a magical castle, no less, and using his gun to demolish a lot of his robotic brethren, and in the end, a bird sets him free. Oh my god, is Bastion just Gamma? Bastion might just be Gamma. Of course, the biggest motif that everyone loves to talk about is the fact that they managed to weave PTSD in an understandable and simplistic way into a story about a battle robot. They took a soldier removed from his time and showed you how the littlest thing, the tiniest noise, can send them spiraling back into aggression. Of course, they did this in a way to imply that he is simply a broken robot who has forgotten what he's supposed to do. It might be a little dehumanizing. I guess it all depends on who you are as a person. but I still think it's a worthwhile story. And definitely something to think about when you think about programming that comes with military involvement and how hard it can be to break that sort of thing. Or maybe just as a way to buck what society expects from you overall. I guess there's lots of different ways you can take this story. That could make it powerful or maybe offensive in your eyes. Who knows? But Bastion's PTSD has a trigger. Bastion has lots of triggers that he uses to get to play the game. Best jokes. But beyond that, he really does have a trauma that is ignited through some auditory cues. And it's easy to see, and it's easy to hear, and it's easy to understand. And I think that that's nice, because there's not a lot of people trying to tell stories about people who deal with PTSD or deal with the fact that their internal programming might have them act a certain way, and that peace is something you should seek above all else. I'd like more stories like that. In the end, it's Bastion's humanity in this. It's his refusal to accept what has happened to him, his refusal to simply carry out the mission, that I think makes him one of the most human and most lovable cinnamon roll robots in all of Overwatch. I mean, it's not like we had many choices, but still. We also got a character update. As you remember last time, we talked about Overwatch's diverse cast and how it had really struck a lot of really cool nationalities, and still was a bit lacking in the gender diversity department, just because of, well, the ladies are all 10 out of 10 gorgeous. Well, they added a new character, and, I mean, it's a baby step in the right direction. We added Ana, and as you remember me talking about last time, in the fact that the Shimadas are brothers, well, now we have Ana, who is the mother to Farah, and that's really awesome. Ana is an older woman. They still made her gorgeous as they could possibly do, but at least they threw a scar her way to make her a little less physically perfect. Of course, they haven't really shied away from that so much, but still, I mean, we got an older lady, and you were still afraid to give her a wrinkly face, and we're still afraid to have a fat lady on screen. You guys can still do better, but you guys are getting there. Just keep it up. That being said, I'm really glad to see that Overwatch is continuing to evolve. I hope they find a way to keep telling us stories. I hope they keep pushing the diversity of the cast. And before you go down to the comments and see a bunch of people saying they shouldn't try to push diversity, I still argue these sorts of games with huge character rosters like League of Legends, Overwatch, Magic the Gathering, anything with thousands upon thousands of options and motifs and ways to play and skins and classes and abilities. When you've already got that many options, how hard is it just to make one little change like this available so that people feel represented? If you don't like it, just don't play the character, but it's not like you don't already have options. Either way, I still like Overwatch, and I've still never played a game of it. We'll see if I ever do. Anyway, thanks for sticking with us on Pen Made Mightier. I guess I'll see you when they make another short. I probably won't be able to not talk about it. It's too good.
Pen made mightier without rollers.
I did that well.
Yeah.
That one was well done. In the middle, I was just like, don't f*** up, don't f*** up, don't f*** up. I really didn't want to lose that. Sometimes that's exactly what it is to me. It's like, get to a point so you can just like write the f***ing Jenga tower. As I talk, it's like removing bricks, and I'm just like, oh god.
Or you just do the kid at the bottom just goes...
Have you seen that?
I have seen that.
What the f***?
That kid was like, what the f***?
It was.
That's some bullshit.
It is some bullshit.
That's some Dia walking up walls level bullshit.
That's some high-level play for Jenga. Next level Jenga maneuver.
What's that? I take a bricks, then I take your girl.